And blessings, family. Sister Arjali. I've definitely cut back on my swirling videos, Swirlers Regrets. Number one, because I was busy studying to write my next textbook, which will be the definitive rollout of everything man-made radiation as it pertains to Black you and me. It's vital to get that information documented in a way that is appealing to us, because as I'm reading through the other textbooks, they're highly informative, but we ain't gonna be reading them daggone books because they tend to be written in white speak. Now, all of that said, I can't do that so much because I actually have to fund what I do, how I do it, because the goal is to get the spectrogram, because it is imperative. I cannot emphasize it enough that we have our food tested. I do not understand. No, I do understand, because there's a hidden hand behind everything that's going on, and that also has to do with the swirlers too. But there's a hidden hand that I'm sure is testing food for certain people who just keep it really secret. But then there's like huge figures, like was Mike Adams of Natural News, who has this lab that he's managed to fund. And that's a good thing. I'm not upset about that. I don't trust him at all. But at the same time, it's real good. But I'm like, why? Dude did talk about Fukushima years and years back. There were all sorts of folks who, in my conclusion, were agents. And I suspect him of being that. Just because of the patterns, I don't have any, he hasn't confessed. Nobody's going to confess. And they talked about Fukushima at the outset. You will have agents who will talk about certain things at the outset. They were all white. They were all white. Nobody black but me was discussing it, except for one person who just came and then they were gone. Two people who came and they were gone. But then they just drop it like a lead balloon and they move on from that and they never mention it again. So I'm just like, what do you think? The radiation has gone away? No, of course it hasn't. And so my goal, because they are allowing all Fukushima food in, and on top of that, they found radiation in honey, in California wine, in all sorts of things. I have wind up, because I do more shares and then it conflicts with different family members, so there's going to probably be a lot of edits as they come on in. But they don't have a list, even though they'll say, oh, there's Fukushima radiation found in California wine. And then they'll just immediately say, oh, but it's within standards. They don't have a listing of all the foods. They should be giving an absolute breakdown. They should admit to what is already documented. They already know low-level radiation is more hazardous than a one-time high dose, where I could always get into that. But I can't right now, because I need you to donate. I made it real easy. I got a soap that is amazing. It's amazing. And I have a book that'll save your life. This is, as I go through learning new knowledge, this is all you need to protect you and your family. I even have apple pectin in here, and I didn't realize just how important for the children's chelation of radiation that is. But you need organic. That's another thing that I would love to be able to produce eventually, but I'm going to need more capital. So you need life. Go, okay? That said, what happened to the Swirlers' regrets? Are they having no more regrets? Because I noticed something very interesting, and this is to inform us of just how strategic our just a cooperation with the lockdown, the incinerating, the turn up the furnace of hell goals of the satanic elite are. It's strategic that we cooperate with that. And this is also, I just get so excited. This is evidence of how powerful my voice has been, your voice has been, and simply the truth is, because it has nothing to do with me. I'm just like, the truth is, that is the weapon the Most High gave us. I just do my best to, if not assist it, which I hope I'm doing, but definitely get out as well, okay? So, I've noticed, and I have to preface this by saying, I don't wish anybody any harm. In sharing what I do about, or have about swirling and bed bucking, it is to just emphasize that truth, that it's not conducive to our overall mental and physical and spiritual health. And so in highlighting the fact that I notice in the news media there are no more reports about, and I know I smiled right there, I didn't mean to smile because it is a serious topic. I don't wish anybody any harm, for real. But I noticed that there are no more stories about black women being assaulted by their brads. There are no, I mean, there's still the, I don't know, the pornography model, IG model chick who killed the African boyfriend that she had. She just stabbed him, and she was just, turns out, just in a violent emotional wreck. There's no more of those stories, but especially of the black women. When I first arrived here on YouTube and became aware of this like frantic push to get black women to, you know, increase their range of options when white men ain't gonna be marrying us by the millions, okay? That's just basically your option to extend the, you know, your biological clock limitations, and then present folks like Janice Jackson and I don't know who the other, beyond the concept of what fertility is. They're trying to increase the notion in women's heads, and sisters specifically, that you can wait till you're 50 to have a child. Oh no, you can't. Oh, please ignore the fantasy that is being put out there in social media. When they just have you have this idea you could get with a man who, most white men don't want black women, and hallelujah, if you understood what a blessing that was, you'd be dancing for joy. And thereby, the media is owned by 5 corporations. And you see how in all media, the entertainment industry, the news media, they have removed the concept of black love altogether. And so you don't see any black love movies. Matter of fact, even like they're shoving homosexuality down our throats, transsexualism down everybody's throats, and kudos to the white racists. I'm not saying you're all racist. I'm just saying we need to separate, okay? Who just refuse to buy Bud Light based on them, you know, having that confused man up on the can, and all the female athletes out there who are waking up. Once again, I notice they're making white people the spokesman of sanity when it was they who proposed the initial lunacy and tried to make it seem as if it was okay to just thwart the rules, the commands of the Most High. Obviously it's not. When you allow one command that goes, or one allowance that goes against his commands, then you wind up opening up the floodgate to everything. Because when you remove the sacred structure of how things are supposed to reign with the Most High, the husband, the wife, and then you got the children, when you remove that discipline, then love, everybody's all about love. The Most High ain't all about love, okay? And so they're shoving all of that down our throats, and they got now silly Porter. How sick to death are all of us of silly Porter They're shoving him down our throats where he's going to get to play James Baldwin. You know, respect to James Baldwin, but I'm still saying he was gay. He was the first entree, along with also, was it Bernard Ruskin, or the person who talked not Malcolm, but Martin Luther King, brother Martin Luther King, out of keeping himself armed. And because you may want to be peaceful, but the people coming for you, they ain't gonna want to be peaceful. So not only wasn't he armed, but everybody on the balcony wasn't armed either. Not that it would have stopped anything, but I'm just saying, you just let folks know that we have a right to defend our peace. Ain't no recognized nation on the planet that doesn't have some sort of backup or some sort of military in order to protect at least the titular leaders. Everybody right now is titular. No real leaders unless you come to black us, okay? Because that ain't gonna happen. And I don't mean the popular ones with 500,000 subscribers. But yeah, so the shoving of all of this nonsense into us is really integral to the success of their Georgia Guidestones confession of just how many people they plan on killing. How they gonna kill that many people in such a short period of time as to, you know, they have to make everybody absolutely insane, so you're just overwhelmed by the distractions and you don't pay attention to the real way they plan on killing us, which is man-made radiation Fukushima fallout. That's why they're shipping the food in, because they're like, look, they're waking up and they aren't dying fast enough for them to start panicking and saying, what's killing us, what's killing us? And the whole rehearsal for the, you know, lock it down, folks. You could Google, I'm sure, find videos of all the suspects, usual suspects up there, trying to strategize years before anything popped off. Well, what if? How do we handle this? How do you handle that? Because they needed a subterfuge. They needed a smoke screen for the radiation. The more I learn, the more I know. They've been practicing this during each and every single nuclear accident, during 3 Mile Island, which killed over 50,000 people, during what we never even knew was a nuclear accident because it was a military one and they don't have to tell us dookie squat. Savannah River nuclear power plant accident, which was probably on the scale of Chernobyl, but they just never told anybody. Because it's military, all right? And so all of these different smoke screens that they provide, yet they never talk about Fukushima. They never talk about black love. They never talk about the fact that a lot of us are falling in love with being black. And the proof that that's just so sane was in noticing the horrific abuse and die-off, the murders of these clueless black folks who thought that just being around white people was going to make everything all better. And so what? Are they not killing them anymore? I hope not. Wouldn't that be nice? But I don't think that's the case. I think it's stories that have been ordered by the soulless elites who own those 5-6 corporations that own all media at this point, instructing everybody, don't say a word. Like I mentioned, the Boy Scouts. And I'm not smiling because I think this is also a, funny topic, but the circumstance surrounding the news articles is just ridiculous. But my condolences, my hope, that, not condolences, because the Boy Scouts are still alive, they're men now, but 85,000 of them won in a court of law for being raped. That is incredible because the Boy Scouts is a huge organization that is one of those beacons they use to prove that whiteism is, that smoke and that mirrors is real, okay? And there's an article that they showed on Daily Mail very shortly after I had mentioned it. And at this point in time, I'm pretty daggone sure that Daily Mail, someone there watches my shares as just an investigation, though they would never have the nerve to talk about Fukushima fallout, and they would never mention the fact that Black you and me are falling in love with each other. And so I've been mentioning the Boy Scouts again and again, and the fact that that news article, that horror, disappeared altogether. And then all of a sudden there's Daily Mail with it. But when I went to the comments section, because I first off, the article and the headline allege that these 85,000 or 84,000 say, no, it's not that they just say, they won. They won. That's why they're getting money. You think the Boy Scouts wants to just give out $24 million? No, there's the out-of-court settlement. Otherwise, it would bankrupt the Boy Scouts. They didn't want to admit it. They have a whole list in the Boy Scouts of potential abusers that they never told anybody about. Right? So, down in the comments, I was horrified because I thought, oh, that's a nice thing. That's real good. Even if the article is kind of namby-pamby about pedophilia, in the comments when I went to read them, I was like, first off, I noticed that it was the same 42 comments. They never added any more. I even put down there, I was like, this is great. I wish those men now healing. Hopefully this will be, some sort of justice for them. Of course, my comment never appeared, and I don't know, maybe it's gone up, but when I went there day after day, it was just 43 comments. And over half of them question whether these 85,000 men were lying when it was proven in a court of law. I wonder how many of those were shills and operatives, because they work directly. Operation Mockingbird, all these media work directly with the CIA. They're told what to say. So when it comes to the swirlers and the fact that that's not going on, when you got, such a rollout of white people who are just losing a gasket right now because they can't handle when that smoke and mirrors clears, their mirrors shatter. Their mirrors shatter. Their concept of themselves shatters, and they have nothing to replace it with, because for them the truth is just a trinket. It's not the substance of life where you just accept this is what it is. Now let's get to work. To work with the truth, not to get in its way and tell it, truth, I want you to be like this. No, you can't do that. And so with them just like hacking up their own families, and I don't wish that for their families either, right? How is it possible that a available, docile, worshipful pet, who sometimes these black women, they'll start questioning these white dudes. They don't like to be questioned, right? But how is it that once every single week, almost every single day, and now it's nothing anywhere? How's it possible for that equation to make any kind of sense? It doesn't. So I'm just saying, we're winning. We're winning. Support your warriors, your soldiers in the battlefield. Go to 25,000yearscycle.org. I should be getting 4 or 5 orders every single day. Trust me, I get 4 or 5 orders every single 3 months. And I'm patient. I'm working with you because I know we've been traumatized. I know we have Stockholm Syndrome. So that we are addicted to having these people in charge. When I did a meme, Unilever, they had something fair and lovely. And they pay lip service to just how freaking racist that product is, and that they're shaming not just black women, the biggest users of that cream, which they call the #1 in the world, are in India and Asia. How many of us are buying these major brand soaps And here's your sister working. I mean, how many years have I been up here? And my warnings, my guidance, my love of you, I ain't never changed. Okay? So, let's get it together. Let's get that spectrogram. Let's get our food tested, because that'll change everything. I'm telling you. That is a paradigm shift. Mwah. I love you. Straight, black, family pride. And we have the best chance of everybody at getting out of this hell. Peace and blessings.